guys. Welcome to the Money Tree. I'm David Holt.
And I'm David Marks.
So, how's it going?
It's pretty good. It's been a busy time. School getting ready to start back.
He's a high school guidance counselor. He was griping. Well,
I wasn't griping.
Wasn't griping. He was telling me about his week, how many students he had registered for school. That's good problem.
It is, and I was stating the obvious. I think that's a good way to put it. We've registered about a 10% gain in our population just within the last 3 days. So
that's a good problem. Means people are not leaving; they're coming.
Right, and we have gained several students, and we're thankful to have them. We actually registered a foreign exchange student today.
Wow!
So we're looking forward to having her there at our school.
That's a great experience. I've had some foreign exchange students over the years, and some of them are really neat people.
Yes, I look forward to it. I think it's going to be fun, and maybe it'll be fun for her too. That's something that I really want is for she to be involved with things at our school. So I hope that we can prod or help her towards that. So
that's a good
experience.
Well, I tell you, I've had lots of positive feedback about our show. I was telling David just at the post office today, I had a guy stop me and was talking about it, and on our last episode we talked about couponing. Remember that?
Yes.
The Dollar Tree app, I actually downloaded it, got some coupons. I was thinking about going in just a little bit and try to pick up a few things for school.
Mm-hmm.
Got a trip coming up before that and was trying to get all my ducks in a row. But I was trying to mow, and if you can see my feet, there's a flip-flop line on there.
So you have a tan line for your flops, right? Well,
the flops.
From the flops. Yeah, not for. I don't know what that would be. So, my thing is my parents have tried this, I know, and I think that they've liked it a good bit. And I know we really appreciate Tara coming on here. And a lot of people had seen that episode and have commented on it. People I've seen out in public. I know that some workers there in the Dollar General in Henniger, there was some Facebook conversation about that. So,
oh, really?
They were very excited that we had done that. And, of course, we know other businesses offer those type of deals also. So we want you to be sure that you take full advantage of that because, we want to save you as much money as we possibly can.
And that's what we're here for, to help you with your finances, to help you have more money in your pocket. Absolutely. So you control your money rather than your money controlling you.
Absolutely, which, not to quickly segue into our topic today.
Oh, my goodness, you want to go right into it?
I don't think I'm ready just yet.
Okay.
I don't think I'm ready just yet because I do want to take just a moment to thank Farmers Telephone TV and Mountain Valley Newspaper because they have done a stellar job the last 2 weeks, especially not in the last 2 weeks, but they've done a really stellar job in the last 2 weeks to really push what we record to get it on the air for Thursday night because I know there's a lot of work. Guys, when we record these episodes, you see this nice graphic behind us, but we have a green screen behind us, and there's a lot of work that goes involved. They have to, make sure the sound's correct, make sure the slides get in there where we use them. So, our cameraman and the people at Farmers really have to work hard to make that happen.
Well, we do appreciate them letting us come on and talk about finances.
Absolutely. And, a lot of times they're left out of the thank yous, I feel like. I feel like they don't get the credit they deserve because it would be easy for us to sit here and say, well, this is our show and this is what we do. But there's a lot of other people who work on that because, David comes up with the great ideas and writes the script, and then I sit here and just talk a lot. So
opposite. That David writes the script, and I sit here and learn stuff. However, I really want to say I was so impressed last week when Tara was here because his mind was blown. I was the one having fun, and he was like, I can't believe this. Yes. This is amazing. I'm like, that's how I feel on a daily basis.
Tara rode down here with me, and we talked about that the whole way back to Henniger, is how, how I was interested in the show and what we had recorded and everything. And I did clock it between my house and the Dollar General was 0.7 of a mile. So I have to go back, and I always think it's right to go back and correct your mistakes. I was way overboard with about double on my mileage. It was actually less than a mile there. So
I have downloaded it, and I have been picking out coupons. I'm going to try to use that this week. Him, on the other hand, is going to have to go through a different thing. Somehow his number got registered and he doesn't know his password.
That's awesome.
So there's savings out there that he cannot use.
Yeah, I'm locked out of the account, so I'll have to work around that. So back to that, I always like to give you a financial fact for the week.
Yes.
So this is to all of our young, maybe even college-level entrepreneurs. If you want to be a business creator or a business starter, I think it's important to know that Apple Computer, kind of a big deal. Would you say Apple's a big deal?
Apple's a big deal.
Apple, big innovator, they have, and also Dell Computers, also another big brand if you look for the Windows-based or the Microsoft-based computers. Both those were started in a house and during college times. Apple Computers was started literally in a bedroom, pardon me, not in a basement, in a bedroom where they started putting those things together. And Dell Computers, believe this or not, was started in a dorm room. So you young college guys out there, when you feel like that the odds are against you, but you have this great idea, I say pursue it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because one night while we're sitting in our college apartment, my roommate and I, we're talking about TV, and I was like, there's probably going to come a time when you're going to get a keyboard attached to your TV and type in the Andrew Griffith Show, Season 5, Episode 8, and it's going to pull up all those episodes and you can watch it. Well, hello Netflix.
Yeah.
And, that's only been 15 years ago, which I know may seem like a lot to some, but it really hasn't been in the span of time. So, when you have those ideas, I would say pursue those, because if I had pursued that idea, who knows, I might be doing the multi-million-dollar money trick today.
Well, I'm going to really, really date myself, because the camera guy and I he's older, but we're close to the same age. I remember when they first started talking about bottling water.
Oh, wow.
I thought that was the most
Crazy
ludicrous thing I had ever heard. Nobody's going to buy bottled water. Yeah. And that's probably one of the biggest sellers out on the market today.
Why would you bottle when you get it out of the sink, right?
That's exactly right. Why in the world will people buy it in a bottle? But I was wrong. I was definitely wrong.
That's, sometimes some of the things that we think would not be the biggest seller, if it becomes trendy, can be the biggest seller. So
that's a trendy thing.
That's a trendy thing. People want to be healthy, I guess. So I don't care to get mine out of the tap. Fluoride in it, whatever they put in it.
I'm just saying the convenience. The convenience
Sure.
of grabbing a bottle. And at my house, I hate seeing these bottles of water that are not consumed, and they're like this much in the bottle. So what do you think we do with that water we just bought? Pour it in a plant.
Sure. Well, that's good.
You're
using it.
Oh, yeah,
I was going to say it was backwash anyway. So.
Not mine. It's usually my daughter's.
So here's my thing. I'm frugal, so I would get it out of the tap most of the time. I do get bottled water sometimes, though.
Proud of you.
Now, so let's segue into what we're going to be talking about today, since you tried to do that earlier and I kind of took us down a trail there and chased a rabbit.
That's okay. I'm just here to be a helper.
That's
I'm
right.
Just a helper.
This, you just want to be a blessing, right?
Well, that's up to debate.
That's true. This week's episode will actually go in conjunction with next week's episode. So it's a two-parter, if we can do that.
Goodness.
We won't put to be continued in there like they used to do in the 80s TV shows.
To be continued.
That's right. Dun, dun, dun. So what we're going to talk about the next couple of weeks is your credit score.
Hey, it's college football time, so touchdown, score.
Score, I got you. I was, my mind was sitting there, I was thinking credit. But I get it, that makes sense. College credit and football touchdowns. Score. Whatever. So, here we go.
Our camera guy has on his Alabama shirt, so
and I'm ready for it too.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Well, and the Auburn fans and Tennessee fans, or whatever fan you are.
Sure.
High school football is about to start.
Jacksonville State and your local schools. So,
Can't forget JSU.
Score.
Fear the beak.
Credit score. There you go.
We graduated there.
JSU, that's right. So what do you think that your credit score is?
Why are you putting me on the spot with my credit score?
Well, let's just say this. What do you think that let's do this. A good credit score, not a great, but a good credit score might be.
A good credit score would be 700.
700.
750.
Okay. All right.
800.
That's good.
Is that in the ballpark?
That's in the ballpark. Okay. So where do you think there's a misconception about your credit score with a lot of people?
What do you mean misconception?
Do you think they really know what it is?
I think most people have no clue until they go and start to borrow money for something. They're like, what's my credit score?
Okay.
You see all these advertisements, you can check it.
Sure.
But I'm always leery about that.
Sure. So let's take just a moment before we get to our first slide and talk about what a credit score is.
Okay.
Let's say that we have John and June, and they're 30 years old.
John and June, they both start with J's?
Yeah.
That's neat.
That's, whatever.
John and June Johnson?
That's what their name is.
Triple J?
That's right. They're brother and sister. They're twins. So they share the same birthday. So even though they share the same birthday, the same last name, the same set of parents, John and June have a big difference. They're the same age. They have the same job, making $40,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a big difference in the two. June is very organized. She is very, let's say,
Organized.
credit, frugal and mindset of trying to be frugal with her money and self-conscious. John, not so much. He likes to buy the new trendy things, the Xbox, the TVs. So June pays her payments on time, her student loan payments, her car payments. She puts a little money in savings. She has some in her bank account. However, John, he runs up his credit card to almost a limit. He doesn't always put back for savings. He will actually miss a payment or two just to buy what he wants. Well, when those two go to the bank, June's going to have a credit score of 700 or more. She's going to have a pretty good score. John, however, is not, because he's missed payments and he has a high credit card debt. It's called an income to debt ratio. So when they go to the bank and they try to borrow money, if they do that, June may have a 4 or 5% interest rate, where John may have a 20% interest rate. The difference in that is, where June's payment of interest for the month might be, $50, John's may be $200. So that's where it makes a difference.
Credit scores is important.
It is very important. And maybe that was a bad example to give, but I tried to give a good little...
On the fly, June and John, that was okay.
That's right, Johnson. So let's look at our first slide if we can.
Okay, first slide.
Looking at our first slide, we can see that credit scores can range from 300 to 850. Now,
I didn't know they could go as low as 300.
Yes, there are actually some sites that will tell you that it can go as low as 200. But I haven't seen that. I think the ones I've looked at, Experian, some of those go 300 to 850. Okay, a credit score of 700 or above is generally considered good. A score of 800 or above on the same range is considered to be excellent. Mm-hmm. So if you have a credit score of above 800, you've got an excellent credit score. Your credit score is the biggest factor in determining whether your loan gets approved. Okay. It's also, the lower your score, the higher your interest rate will be. And they, of course, if your score is low enough, they can also say, no deal, we're not going to loan you this money. Businesses, now this was kind of interesting, I thought. Businesses may also charge you a higher rate due to a low score. So, we have local cooperatives, so they might not apply, but let's say that you lived in a district where there was Alabama Power. Mm-hmm. Alabama Power actually has the option to charge you a higher rate or penalty for having a low credit score.
Really?
Yes. Some businesses can actually do that, and some power companies, phone companies can actually do that. They could actually charge you a higher rate for your cell phone with AT&T or Verizon if they wanted to, because of a low credit score.
Wow.
So also, it can keep you from getting a job. And I found this to be a staggering fact that 47% of businesses in the country run credit checks on people as possible employees.
Yeah, I personally know of a company that does that. If you don't have a good financial record, credit score, they won't employ you.
So why do you think that is? Why do you think they run a credit check? Why would they need to run a credit check on you as an employee?
Well, I hate to use this analogy, but it's like kids in the classroom. You know who behaves and does what they're supposed to, and someone who has a good credit score would be someone who is a rule follower.
Right. And
they do what they're asked to do, turn their payments in on time, they're responsible, and those are the ones, as a teacher, you will send on an errand, or you would do a task over and above. Someone who's going to be a troublemaker and not follow the rules, and you don't know if you can trust them or not, those are the ones you're not going to give that opportunity.
Right, and it has a lot to do with, too, a word called theft. They really show, data related to, if you have a low credit score, sometimes that company thinks this person might not be trustworthy. They can't manage their finances. Why should we let them in charge of anything we have? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that if you have a low credit score that that's something that would happen. I'm just saying that some companies look at you as a liability. So just like you said, the students who behave, things like that, they look at you as a liability and they say, well, this person may not be trustworthy, so we may not can hire them. And it all goes back to your finances.
And don't be alarmed, because on the next show we're going to show you how you can raise your credit score, get it better than it is today.
Sure.
Establishing credit is probably one of the first things you need to do.
It is, and establishing credit is very important, and
even for young people, really important for young people.
Yes, and mom and dad, if you have a teenager especially, I would recommend. Let's say that there is a credit card, or not a credit card, I'm sorry, not a credit card. No. Let's say there's an item. I was thinking guitar in my head, and I don't know why I said credit card. Is that a sign of mental fatigue, maybe? Let's say there's a guitar that your teenage son wants to buy, and it's a $500 guitar. Well, the good thing to do is, you could just give him the $500, but let's say he's 16 years old. A smart thing to do is take him to the bank and let him take out a $500 loan. If they'll loan that, even if you have to co-sign, buy the guitar and let him make payments on that. And I know you may think, why would you do that? Well, number one, that's a low amount. It's not going to be something they're going to have to charge a high interest rate for.
Mm-hmm.
And it establishes his credit. Because by the time he gets ready to go to college, what's he going to be applying for?
College loans.
College loans, possibly. And, if he already has established credit, if he's already has a credit history, then he has a better
What
chance
if they're
of having a better rate.
wanting to buy a vehicle? Would you let them co-sign on that?
I would if you knew your child and you felt like your child was trustworthy.
Well, you could make the payment with their name, then pay you, and you write the check.
Oh,
That way
absolutely.
you know it got paid on time.
Absolutely, and that's a great thing. But I do think there's something important about that child making the payment,
Mm-hmm.
because when they learn to make the payment on a vehicle, then you're also teaching them good habits to pay those bills on time later. But I understand the concept on what you're saying.
My thing would be, if they can't feed the dog on a daily basis, I'm not going to let them write the check. So therefore,
Well, and I know life is different, but if you're not if they're not trustworthy enough to feed the dog on a daily basis, do you really want to put them behind the wheel? I'm just saying, if they can't stay focused
it's
enough to feed the
called
dog.
theory and practicality.
That's true.
So someday theory will understand practicality,
Sure.
and yes, they will have to be behind the vehicle, but they probably won't remember to take the garbage out. They won't remember to feed the goldfish. And by the way, my family's out of town, and I forgot to feed the goldfish. So.
So it doesn't just happen to teenagers.
No, it happens to all
adults
of us.
too. Well, and I think that is where everyone's different. Everyone has their own applications, and yes, there's a lot of theory that is trumped by logic and by practicality. So just because in my mind, I'm very analytical and very black and white.
Strict.
Yes. So to me, it's there's authority, and you do what authority says. To where not every parent's that way. So I would think, okay, we've established this payment for you. You need to pay it every month, because if I have luck and my children are like my sister one day, then she's actually pretty good. I can't say that. Then I would probably have the child who would be the whatever, happy-go-lucky, I'll pay it one day kind of person.
Have you ever heard the saying, "You're going to pay for your raisin"?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
someday
Yes.
he's going to experience that.
Yes, because I am so. Here's draw the line. So strict, maybe.
Life happens
It
sometimes,
does.
and you have to have grace other than
Oh, sure.
punishment all
Sure.
the time.
I'm not saying you punish all the time. I'm just saying.
Do they need to be driving if they can't feed the dog? Yes. I heard that conversation, what you just said.
That's not exactly what I
think
meant.
if we were to roll the tape back, that's exactly the words he said.
What I meant was, though, can you trust them with a vehicle if you can't trust them to feed the dog?
One day.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. He'll understand one day.
I'm digging myself into a
You
big,
are.
deep
You're not
hole.
getting out of that one. I'm going to tell you.
No. So, all that being said, and I think I actually jumped ahead and went to our second slide before our first one, but that's okay. We can reverse this, right? Because
Sure.
This is our first slide that I want us to talk about.
Okay.
So, talking about our credit score, since we've talked about how it affects you, now let's look at our second slide to see what exactly credit score, some statistics on that.
Okay.
The statistics I found is that Minnesota ranks number 1 with an average score of 718 in our country.
Really?
So those people in Minnesota love their Vikings, and buddy, they love their credit score to be high.
Don't they like fish?
Oh, I don't know.
What else does they do in Minnesota in the winter?
Besides watch your credit, I don't know. They're like, pay those bills. That's
My apologies if there's anybody from Minnesota. I've never been, and that's just
If you're watching from Minnesota, give us a comment on what you do in your spare time, because we
the only
obviously do
person
not
from
know.
Minnesota comes from a old television show who a character was from Minnesota,
Okay,
and she was not the brightest light bulb in the pack.
you're digging yourself a hole now.
I know, so I'm sorry, but that's the only dealings I've had with Minnesota.
But if you look at our national averages, I wondered why Minnesota, though. I thought maybe there's a lot of just fiscally minded people up there.
Maybe they're like you, and there's punishment
For everything.
Grace, yes.
You didn't feed the dog, you don't drive the car.
No driving their car.
So looking at that, and this one was not a surprise to me, but Nevada ranks number 50
Wow.
with an average score of 660. Now, why would Nevada, you think, be so bad?
That's where all the gambling is.
That is where Las Vegas is.
They go in and they take the house payment, and they're
I
don't want to say they are. They could be gambling in a way, trying
Well,
to get lucky, and they don't have the money for the light bill or the mortgage.
Governing.com is where I actually pulled these statistics from, and Governing.com said that they think, or it's estimated, or the hypothesis, if I can use that word,
That's a big word.
it's hypothesized that the low score in Nevada is probably attributed to the gambling that takes place there. You know, and we've always said, now, if you play the lottery and that's what you decide to do, that's fine. I would much rather you take that money and put it into the market or into an IRA. But, you know, the lottery has often been, you know, phrased as a tax on poor people, because it's not the multimillionaires typically that are playing the lottery. Who is it? It's the people who are just barely
Looking for that get rich quick.
Right. And now, I'm not saying that everyone that plays it is of the lower income bracket, but you know, in Nevada, having a low credit score and being kind of Sin City doesn't really surprise me, because they probably waste a lot of money out there on a
I
lot
know
of
they
things.
use a lot of electricity. I have been there once,
Right.
and their lights are always on.
Right. So it's no surprise. They're number 50. And, of course, good old sweet home Alabama ranks. We're not much better. 41st with an average score of 676. So the whole theory of bad economics, maybe personal finances in the state of Alabama, is what helped develop our show. Because what are we here for? Are we here just to watch ourselves on Thursday night? No, because I typically don't ever get to see it. I have to see it later on.
Usually it's DVR'd and the kids watch
That's
it.
it.
So.
The reason we're here is to help people in our area, to really be a help. And as David said, he wants to be a blessing. To really be a help and a blessing to you, to help you overcome these financial problems. And we've tried to cover a gauntlet of things. You know, there's a lot of things there.
Hypothesis, gauntlet.
I've got one more that I may pull out later.
I'm impressed.
Well, when you have enrolled over 40 students in less than a week, you can really start imagining great words, because you're stressed at your computer. So you start trying to take your mind somewhere else.
All they have to do is fill out the form, and you just plug the information in. Right? That's
no,
all you have to do.
No, that is not it at all. So that is a stretch. So about
I thought all you did is drink coffee all day and talk.
And I do drink coffee all day and talk, both. So Alabama ranking 41st. We don't have statewide gambling, so we can't attribute it to that. Why do you think that our credit score is so low in this state?
Well, before I answer the question, because I didn't see the statistics that you looked at, are the other southern states in the bottom of the barrel like that?
Yeah. Actually, on the slide, if you look on the slide we have, if they can throw that back up on the screen for just a moment, the greener the state, the better the credit score. The redder the state, the worse the credit score. And those that are not colored in are kind of neutral. They're just kind of in the middle of the pack there.
So as we look, we see South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. They're worse than we are.
Yes. The South definitely did not rise with their credit score.
Okay.
So
even Tennessee and Kentucky are the same as us.
Yes, you can see that. You know, for the way the South looks, I was really surprised by Texas, but I guess we just have typically lower socioeconomic populations. And, I don't know. I feel like that there's people that I know of that might have, you never knew they had money, but they had money, but they probably had a bad credit score because they never checked it and they never paid much attention to it. So, not that your credit score is the end-all, be-all of
Well, let me
your
ask
finances.
this one question. Do you think all these advertisements you see on television about checking your credit score, you think they're good to do or not?
We're going to get into that next week.
Okay.
That's a good
Okay.
segue for continue next week. We're going to show you how to improve
To be
that score.
continued.
That's right. To be continued. So, as we get into next week, we're actually going to take time to talk to you about that credit score and checking your score and monitoring it and trying to increase that score in ways that you can do it. There are ways you can.
Okay.
So-
well, you want to go straight to
I do.
stock picks?
I'm ready to go to stock picks this week.
Because I tell you, I hate to. Can we talk numbers? Can
Sure.
we talk about not give names, but what people are actually doing? With it?
Sure.
How they're making money and not losing money.
Sure. Go ahead.
Can-
Throw some numbers at me.
Well, I want you to do it because
Well-
I'd rather you remember more than I do. But we did talk to two individuals last week
Yes, we
who
did.
actually were using the Robinhood app and
Yes.
started with $25 or so.
Yeah, and they've had a good bit of success with it. Now the thing about that is, one of the picks that I've given out for the last several weeks has just taken a beating I mean, if they were boxing matches, they were getting their ear bit off by Tyson kind of things. I mean, it's been ugly. And that one is the first one on my list, which is Orchard Island Capital.
Okay.
You know, when I was throwing prices out there for that, I was throwing out anywhere from $10 a share, and I still feel like that's a good price for this stock. They pay a good monthly dividend, things like that. However, whatever's going on, it fell last week, and when it fell hard. It was like a schoolboy in love, man. It fell all the way. And I would say a buy on it now is like $9.35 to $9.50.
Really?
Yes, it has fallen 50 cents a share, which is pretty drastic if you think about that.
But remember, the stock market is not something you get in and get out. You got to be there for the long haul.
You do, and it's a cycle. It's cyclical. So there's my third word. So
that's the big word.
Yes. So the market may be down, and it's a good buy opportunity right now. So what am I doing right now with the extra money I've got? I'm buying that ORC, and I'm buying it like crazy, which also brings my average of cost down on the stock. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll see those $10, maybe $11 again. It may be next February, though. So you have to be patient with it, because usually September, October are bad months for the market.
Well,
so
everybody's spending money going back to school.
They are, and it's just for
college,
whatever reason.
High school.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times numbers come out that are not that strong for industries and things like that. So looking at our slide, if we can go to that, the first one, of course, we gave you is Orchard Island Capital, ORC. It's a buy at $9.35 to $9.50. It has a 15% monthly dividend. It's 14 cents a share, and its PE ratio has actually dropped to 19 since the price has come down. So keep looking at that, okay? The book value on that, by the way, is $9.25. So anytime you start getting close to the book value of a stock, it's probably a good indicator it's a good buy, as long as it has a good PE ratio. My next stock is DCP Mindstream LP. This was again last week. DCP buy at $34.75 to $35.25. That's for those who might have a little bit more money in the market. It's a natural gas company, has a PE ratio of 20, and offers a 8% dividend. That is a very high dividend for a company of that high of a price. iShares S&P Global Financial Sector Fund is another one I like. Again, this is a higher price stock. IXG is its symbol. It's a buy at $64.50 to $65.25. Has a PE ratio of 15.912 and offers a 2% dividend. I feel like it's a good buy if you're looking to put a little bit more money than $5 or $10. Now, getting back to the lower
where the
funds,
real people live.
Yes. Liberty All-Star Equity Fund, USA. I still like this one. It's at $5.50 to $5.65. They invest in a diverse set of stocks. PE ratio is a little high, but it's worth the investment long term. Mm-hmm. This is a 5-year buy. Okay. Interspace Diagnostics. This is a Kenny Rogers gambler stock. Okay. IDXG is the symbol. I feel like it's a buy at 90 to 95 cents. So this is for our low-end investor.
Right.
They develop and commercialize molecular diagnostic testing. So this would kind of be like the testing, the at-home testing, things like that you would do at a doctor's office. They develop it and they commercialize it. So that gives you there. And, of course, my penny pick for the week
That's not pennies.
Well, a penny pick can be anything less than $5.
Okay.
But you know, you'd think my Interspace Diagnostics would be. But Clean Energy Fuels, CLNE, a buy at $2.75 to $2.85. Okay. Natural gas company for alternative fuels for vehicle fleets. So what they actually cover is they actually do alternative natural gas fuel for vehicles. So instead of putting gasoline in your car, you would actually be putting natural gas.
That's a lot of buses in big cities run off natural gas.
They do, and here's the reason why I think this might be a good buy. Because if gasoline ever starts to go up, more and more people may look to this since the technology is becoming more and more accessible.
And on the news today, it said gas prices were on the increase.
So there you go. And this company right here, by the way, they own both the ability, the technology to use the cars, operate the cars, but also the refueling stations. They own both.
Well, let me say, let me touch on this because we didn't say numbers, but several people, two in particular, started like $25 or so, and they're like $300 to $400.
Yeah, there's a few that have invested around $50, and they're in the $300 range.
So remember, it's just fun money. It's not your house payment, and it's much more return on your investment than you would be buying a lottery ticket.
Right. Don't go buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks or McDonald's. Make your coffee at home and put $5 in the market tomorrow. That's my advice.
On the Robinhood app.
On the Robinhood app, yes.
And we appreciate you guys tuning in to The Money Tree.
The Money Tree.
I started saying MountainValleyNewspaper.com.
Well, that too.
Mountain Valley Today. That's my
That's
other
it.
thing that I
That's
do
it.
on occasion.
And
It's called a senior moment.
It
Someone
happens.
told me the other day there's more salt and less pepper. I know, it's all great. But it's hanging on.
that's right, unlike mine. So remember, guys, you can check us out on moneytreetv.org, also at facebook.com/moneytree television. Be sure to check us out. Look us up there. We always want to. That's Moneytree TV. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Moneytree TV, not Moneytree
And Farmers
Television.
Telephone, TV
FTC,
channel 6,
TV channel 6.
MountainValleyNewspaper.com. They have our shows there as well.
Absolutely. Remember, guys, you cannot know financial peace without first knowing the Prince of Peace.
Have a great day. See you next time.